Okay, so we're going to talk about, for the rest of this grading period, actually, the concept of similarity and trigonometry. Okay, so if you think about the word similar, okay, similar means almost the same, but not exactly the same. Okay? So if they were exactly the same, they'd be congruent. All right? So it says here, figure 1 and figure 2 below are similar. Okay? Which side corresponds to side DC? So here's our side DC. So here's DC. Okay? So what we're looking for in this shape is which side corresponds. Which side is in the same place as DC? Well, right there, ZW. Whoops. I can't make a W. I still can't. So segment ZW is your answer, because that's the correspond means basically that which side matches up with the other side, essentially. Now, same thing here, except this time it says which angle corresponds to angle L. Well, here's angle L, right there, okay? Now, obviously these two figures are drawn in different directions. So what I'm going to do is, see how LK is like the shortest side here? Well, the shortest side down here is CD. So up here, CD is 1, 2, 3 units long. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm just going to draw this CD just like that. Whoops. Essentially, guys, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to rotate this big figure. Now, the longest side is across from that, so AB. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, C is 3 units away from A. So, let's see. Right about there. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is a B. So now you just connect those. So now you have the shapes looking the same. They're going in the same direction. Well, here's angle L. So what angle in the other figure matches up with L? C does. So that's your answer. Okay? So again, if they give you two shapes that look like one's rotated and one's not, rotate the bigger figure to make it look like the smaller one. Okay. Quadrilateral QRST is dilated. Okay? All right. So let me do this. Couple of terms here. A dilation makes a shape bigger or smaller. Okay? Okay, so it's dilated by a scale factor of 3/4. So what is a scale factor? Well, a scale factor is ratio of the corresponding sides. So what that means is it's going to be a fraction. Now, it could also be a whole number. Okay? To form quadrilateral Q prime, R prime, S prime, T prime. So when you see a letter with an apostrophe, that means Q prime. Okay? The apostrophe is like a prime. All right? So it says, what is the measure of side S prime, T prime? Well, they don't draw the new picture. Okay? They just give you the original. So here's ST. All right? So here's what you do to find the measure of the one side, the new side. So S prime, T prime equals. Now the scale factor is 3/4. So I'm going to take 3/4 times the measure of ST, the original. Well, ST is 8. So I have 3/4 times 8. 3/4 times 8 is 6. By the way, notice, okay, 3/4 is less than 1. So your answer will be smaller than the original. Sorry for my chicken scratch. Okay, so if your scale factor is less than 1, your answer, when you find the measure of a new side, okay, will be smaller than the original. So the new side is 6, the original side is 8, 6 is less than 8. That's how you know. Now, dilation, again, there's the definition. Now, there's no picture this time. It says triangle HIJ is dilated by a scale factor of 6. So what that means is, okay, 6 is bigger than 1. So my answer will be bigger. To form triangle H prime, I prime, J prime. Side JH measures 16. What is the measure of side J prime, H prime? Well, it's the same thing. There's no picture, but the problem tells us everything we need to know. So J prime, H prime equals, well, the scale factor is 6, so 6 times what JH is. Well, it says right here, JH measures 16, so 6 times 16, which is 96. And 96 is bigger than 16. So what do we say up here? The scale factor was bigger than 1, so the answer will be bigger. Well, 96 is bigger than 16. Okay? Okay, now, it says triangle OPQ is similar to triangle RST. Find the measure of side RS. So here's RS right there. Okay? So we'll make that X because that's what we're trying to find. Okay? Now, in similar shapes, the sides are what we call proportional. Okay? Now, notice the word proportion. Okay? Notice the word proportion. Well, in Algebra 1, hopefully, you learned how to do proportions. Okay? A proportion is a fraction equals a fraction. Now, how are we going to do that here? Well, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm given two sides here, 4 and 6. All right? Pick one. It doesn't matter which one. I'll pick 6. So 6 goes on top here. Okay? Now, what side matches up over here? Well, 23.4 does. So that's one fraction, ratio, whatever you want to call it. Now, let's take a look at the other pair. Well, I'm going to choose 4 this time. And that's going to match up with X. They're the same sides. Not the same, but in corresponding positions. Now, to solve a proportion, number 1, cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply this way. So 6 times X is 6X. And then I'm going to do 4 times 23.4. So 6X equals 4 times 23.4, which is 93.6. Okay, so we did that. Next, divide. So I divide by 6. Okay, so I divide by 6. And I get 15.6. So I did that. Okay? Order matters. Okay? So if you chose 6 to go on top, that means that this 4 in the same triangle also has to go on top. Okay? So order matters. All right. Same thing here. All right. Quadrilateral, RSTU. Okay. By the way, a quadrilateral has 4 sides. Quad means 4 sides. Okay. Is similar to quadrilateral VWXY. Find the measure of side YV. Well, here's YV. There's my X. Okay, now, start with the first figure. You can choose 9 or 6, it doesn't matter. Well, let's choose 9. Well, what matches up with... Okay, my video accidentally paused. So, quadrilateral has 4 sides. Quad tells you that. YV is what we're trying to find. So we put an X there. 9 and X match up. So 9 over X is our first ratio, or our first fraction, I should say. And then I have 6 and 22.4. So 6 over 22.4. Cross multiply. So I have 9 times 22.4 equals 6 times X is 6X. So 9 times 22.4 is 201.6 equals 6x. Now I divide by 6. So divide by 6, and I get 33.6. Okay? So, again, you're just matching up the sides and setting up proportions. Sorry about the pause on my video. Okay. Now, this time, we have a rectangle. It's dilated by a scale factor of 2. Now, this 2 right here means the shape gets bigger. All right? Find the perimeter and the area of the rectangle below, so that one, as well as the perimeter and area of the dilated rectangle. So, this one. Okay? Now, perimeter means add all the sides. Well, in a rectangle, the opposite sides are the same. So that's 16 and that's 22. So my perimeter is 16 plus 22 plus 22. So let's see. 32, 54, 76. So my perimeter is 76. Now my area of a rectangle right there, length times width. So length is 22 times 16. So 22 times 16 is 352. Okay, so that's the original. Now, the new shape. Okay, now this rectangle here is dilated by a scale factor of 2. So here's what that means. That means that this vertical side is 16 times 2. And this horizontal side is 22 times 2. So I'm just taking the original sides, and multiplying by the scale factor. So this side is 32, which means this side is 32. 22 times 2 is 44. Which means this side is 44. So the perimeter is 32 plus 32 plus 44 plus 44. So, let's see. 64, 108, 152. Okay. Area, length times width. So, 44 times 32. So my area, 44 times 32, is 1,408. Now that's one way to do it. Okay, that's one way to do it. But let's take a look at something. Okay, The scale factor of 2 means that this rectangle is twice as big as that one. Okay? So let's look at the perimeters for a second. Let's take a look at the new perimeter, 152, divided by the original perimeter, which is 76. Well, if I divide those, I get 2. Well, that's the same as the scale factor. So the perimeter is 2 times bigger. Okay. Well, let's do the same thing with the areas. So let's do 1408 divided by 352. Well, that's 4. Okay, that's fine. But what's the relationship with 2 and 4? Well, 4 is 2 squared. So my new area is 2 squared times bigger. Now, let's apply that concept we just said to the next problem. Same problem, except this time the scale factor is 1/4. Find the perimeter and area of the rectangle below. Okay, so perimeter. So this is 14, this is 20. So 14 plus 14 plus 20 plus 20. So my perimeter is 28 and 40 is 68. And my area, length times width, 20 times 14, which is 280. Now let's apply what we just talked about. The scale factor is 1/4. So that means, forget the sides. If I just took the original perimeter of 68 and I multiplied it by the scale factor, which is 1/4, I would get 17. Okay. Area, so if I took the original area of 280, now remember, it was the scale factor squared times bigger. Well, the scale factor is 1/4, so 1/4 squared. So in my calculator, 280 times 1/4 squared, 17.5. So that's actually an easier way to do those problems, which really helps a lot. You can do it either way. You can do all this, or you can just do it this way. Up to you. All right, almost done. Sorry. Longest video of the year right here, okay? Because there's lots to talk about. All right, triangle IJK is similar to triangle LMN. Then they want us to find NL. Round your answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. Okay, so here's NL. Okay, that's X. Now, as you can see, the two shapes are not drawn the same direction. But take a look right here. Whoops. Okay. Now, we have to find NL. Well, what side in this triangle goes with NL? Well, here's what you do. So NL, so here's N is the third letter, L is the first letter. So I go over here. The third letter is K, the first letter is I. So it's K-I. So here's K-I. Okay. So that means 29 and X match up. So I have 29 over X equals, well, I have 16 and 55. So 16, 55. Cross multiply. So I have 29 times 55 equals 16x. So 29 times 55 is 1,595 equals 16x. Divide by 16. So divide that by 16. Now, here's what I get. So x equals 99.6875. But it says round to the nearest tenth. 6 is in the tenths place. These two numbers don't matter. This 8 determines whether 6 goes up to 7 or stays. Well, 8 is 5 or higher. So my final answer is 99.7. Okay? Use these letters to help you see what matches up. Last one. Okay? Quadrilateral IJKL, similar to quadrilateral MNOP. As you can see, the two shapes are drawn differently. So we are looking at the order of the letters. Find PM. So here's PM. Now, it's not obvious which one PM is over here. Well, PM. So PM is going to match up. Well, P is the last letter, M is the first letter. So here I've got L and I. So LI is 19. So 19 and X correspond. So 19 over X. All right. And then I've got 14 and 45. So 14 over 45. Cross multiply. So I've got 19 times 45 equals 14x. So 19 times 45 is 855 equals 14x. So I divide by 14. All right. So divide by 14. So I get a really long decimal, but the only things I care about are the O and the 7. So what does 0 or 7 do to 0? Bumps it up to 1. So my answer is 61.1. Okay. I apologize for the length of the video, but there are a lot of examples I wanted to cover with you. And I promise this will be the longest video we do this year. Again, I apologize, but hang in there.